Hey, third grade. Welcome to our next purpose as readers for vocabulary. I can identify the prefix added to a root word to determine the new meaning. So we have had this as a purpose before, so we're going to build on what we know. When we say the word prefix, what does that make you think of? Now, we can use this slide as a resource to help reflect on your thought or confirm your thinking. So a prefix is a word part that can be added to the beginning of a base word. Adding a prefix forms a new word with a new meaning. So two common prefixes that we're going to look at today are un and non. They both mean not. So when you add un or non in front of a root word, it's going to be not or opposite of or without. Let's look at an example. Un means not or the opposite of. So the root word is kind. When someone's kind, they're caring or they do nice things for people. Un means not kind. So unkind means someone's not kind. Non means not or without. And verbal is our root word. So verbal means that it's someone who uses their words. Non-verbal means someone that does not use their words or can't speak. Here's my favorite guy, Slinky Dog. How many times have you heard me say that? The reason I do that is because it's a visual that gets in our brain of what a root word is, what a prefix is, and what a suffix is. So here's our prefix un, which means not. Here's our root word break. And then here's our suffix able. Well, to break something is to make it not work. And if something's breakable, that means it's easily broken. If something is unbreakable, it's not easily broken. That prefix un changed the meaning of break. So here is the workbook page that mimics the workbook page you will complete today. I can identify the prefix added to a root word to determine the new meaning. So we're going to use a word from the box below to complete each sentence. So let's look at our three words. One word, I see the root word. We're going to look inside this word to find the root word, break. I see the suffix able, breakable. I see the prefix unbreakable, so not breakable. I see our root word kind. I see our prefix un, so not kind. I see our root word verbal, our prefix non. Non-verbal means not talking. So we have to think of the meaning of each word and use it in a sentence so that it makes sense. Number one, the computer was blank when the case was on it. What would sound right and make sense? Go ahead and show us your thinking. Let's check your thinking. The computer was unbreakable when the case was on it. The computer was unkind when the case was on it. Or the computer was nonverbal when the case was on it. Notice I just used each word and plugged it in a sentence to see what sounds right and makes sense. The computer was unbreakable when the case was on it. Number two, my brother was blank when he made fun of me. My brother was unbreakable when he made fun of me. Now it's your turn. Go ahead and plug in the other words to see what makes sense. Let's check your thinking. My brother was unkind when he made fun of me. And the last sentence, the baby was blank because it couldn't talk yet. Go ahead and plug in the word that makes sense. Let's check your thinking. The baby was nonverbal because it couldn't talk yet. We have just identified the prefix added to a root word to determine the new meaning. Let's go into our text and see how it works as a reader. In our text that we've been reading this week, our realistic fiction, The Impossible Pet Show, there are some words that have a prefix added to the root word. We can use that prefix to help us determine the meaning. Highlighted in green, I see the root word comfortable and the prefix un. If we blend those two parts together, uncomfortable. So now we have to determine what the meaning of that word is. Let's read the sentence. I've never had a pet, so I feel uncomfortable and nervous around animals. What does the prefix un mean? Rewatch this video if you need help remembering what the prefix un means. Now, we have just determined that the prefix un means not. So what is the new meaning of the word uncomfortable? The new meaning of the word uncomfortable is not comfortable. I've never had a pet, so I feel not comfortable and nervous around animals. We could even plug in the word nervous. Here is another word highlighted in green. I see the root word and I see the prefix. What's the root word that you notice in this green highlighted word, impossible? Let's check your thinking. Possible, that is a word that can stand on its own and still have meaning. It means that something could happen. Here's the prefix. What's the prefix that you see? Im. What does the prefix im mean? Rewatch this video if you need help remembering. Im means not. So now let's determine the new meaning of the word impossible. The meaning of impossible. Let's read it in context. I'm sorry, I apologized, but that's impossible. Crowds make me nervous and unsure. Besides, I don't like animals, remember? But that's not possible. Did that match your thinking? And here's our last word for the day. Nonsense. That's nonsense, said Carla. There's nothing to be concerned about because you'll be great. Well, I see a root word here. What's the root word? Now identify the prefix. What is the new meaning of nonsense? Nonsense means not making sense. So that doesn't make sense, said Carla. We just met our purpose, third graders. I can identify the prefix added to a root word to determine the new meaning. Make sure when you're reading, you use this strategy to help you determine the new meaning of tricky words, because then they will become our power words. Good luck, readers.